Yo, welcome back to SeaBed. Last time, I guess we found out definitively that Takako is dead, supposedly, according to Fumi, and from Narasaki. Because there was like a funeral for her and everything. And I think Narasaki is still trying to like investigate the cause of the hallucinations, because we're not 100%, she's not 100% clear on that, but yeah. And we still don't exactly know how Takako died. I guess drowning, but it could be something else. So for a couple of episodes now, I've been saying that I would go back through my past like recording and like see if I can find important information again. And I haven't actually done it so far, but I have actually done it this time. I've gone back and I've skimmed through the entire story from start to finish. And I've definitely picked up on a lot of stuff. So, okay, I don't know where to start with all of this. By the way, if you're just here to see me continue the story, it's probably going to be a while. Maybe skip like 15 minutes in the episode. So the first thing I did was I gathered all the information I had that seemed important, like things that seemed either like foreshadowing or that seemed like they were obviously clues that I already had gathered like on my first read through. I organized all of them into either what I considered like major clues, like 100% this is important, I'm almost certain, and this is going to come back later. And I also put some of them in the small clues category, which I consider something to be possibly a clue, possibly just a random detail, or possibly just something I kind of misunderstood, but not 100%. And what I had, so the big clues, or the big piece of information that are important. So number one, of course, is the missing coworker, Anne, which has been mentioned like twice or something, but we never ever see her. Sometimes it seems like the story is like intentionally cutting around us seeing her, like the scene last time where it was the entire chapter. It was just like Sachiko wakes up, she goes to the office, time skip, and we skip to her leaving the office. Like it almost seems like we skipped that whole middle part because An was there, right? So it seems like the story like absolutely does not want us to see An, which is interesting. Also for the important clues, there is the milk under the baseball field from the very beginning. That still, I have no idea what that could be. I also included, like, thematically, I've identified 3 things that keep coming back over and over again. Number one, of course, is water. Water shows up in every single scene. It's, like, omnipresent. But also books and flowers. Both of those seem like very common motifs in this story that, like, keep coming back over and over in every scene. So that's interesting. And also just the woman in Italy is a very strange character. And the fact that she was in Sachiko's dream that one time is also very interesting. I'm not sure exactly still what her purpose is, but yeah. So that's it for the big clues I had. For the small clues, or like not 100% sure this is relevant, but it seemed interesting. First up is when Inukai was invited to go eat together with Sachiko, Fumi, and Takako. He said, "I've been here long enough to know better," and then he left. I don't know what that means. It could be just like a joke that I'm not understanding, but it seemed strange to me. Next is the fact that Takako was driving with the steering wheel on the left in that one scene. Again, I'm not sure what that could be implying, but that felt like strange enough to write down. It could just be that they just have a Western car for some reason, but that just seems weird. Next, I just have the time period in general. It's not 100% clear when exactly this takes place, but to me, with the fact that it mentioned that they had CRT monitors and that they were the computer had white on black text, which insinuates that they're using DOS. And also, at one point, this is something I found when I went back through the story. It mentioned. Sachiko said that they were getting less offers than before the economy crashed. So to me, that indicates that like the big Japanese crashes is either 1990 or 1997. And 1997 seems like it makes more sense to me. So I'm guessing the story takes place around 1998, maybe around 1999, somewhere around there is where I'm guessing. Because Sachiko would have had to have the company be a thing before the crash for her to make that statement. So yeah, something like that. Next is when Sachiko gave everyone present. We still do not know what she gave to Inukai. It said it was a small present, but we never saw what the present was. It could be irrelevant. We could never know it, but it could be an important detail. Next is the foreign bend thing and the beam surfer thing that Narasaki mentioned, like with patients that told her about that. Could just be a random, like, funny detail, but it just seems kind of strange. Next, this one is really throwing me off, is the whole fucking gluttonous rice thing. Because it's so random, but at the pharmacy, Sachiko said, gluttonous rice, ... Like, she said it as if the gluttonous rice made her remember something or made her think about something. But I have no idea what that could be. And I could just be misreading the scene. But that's how I read it. It read as if the gluttonous rice was like something that caught Sachiko's attention for some reason. And that's it. Okay. Now that's the information that I had beforehand, before like skimming through the story again and trying to like look for connections and clues. Now, after doing that, I've gotten a lot more information. So let me just go through all that right now. So at the very beginning, there was a story with the goldfish that Sachiko told Takako, which I think is gonna mirror the story itself. Like the story with the fish going mold and it like disappearing, or not disappearing, but it being gotten rid of, and it like having mold grow out of it. That seems like a very innocuous story, and that seems like a very random story to start the entire game off with. Next, this is important detail. At the very beginning, we had like one tiny scene from Takako's POV where she like woke up in the room, and she had the same ringing in like her head that Sachiko has had for the whole story, which is very interesting because Sachiko said that the ringing is something that she's had since she was a child. So it seems weird that Takako would also have the same ringing. Yeah, it just very interesting. Okay, next, this is probably the single most important detail I found through the entire story while rereading. I'm really surprised I didn't catch this on the first time. In the first school scenes, at the very beginning actually, when Takako first finds Sachiko reading her book in like a random location, Takako says, and I quote, "Speaking of which, your cousin An has psychic powers, right? Your cousin An, as in An, the fourth worker that we've never seen? Annalise? Is that the same An? It has to be, right? There's no way they would have two Ans in the story, just randomly. So is Sawatari Annalise Sachiko's cousin? Right? It seems weird, but that seems to be what it's implying. And also, not only like they're referring to her by the same nickname, because Sachiko called Annalise An at some point, like as a nickname, but here they're also calling her An. So that really does seem to indicate to me that that is the same person, and that An is Sachiko's cousin. I'm glad I caught that line. Next is just a question. I'm still not exactly sure what country they went to at the beginning. So, at first I assumed they went to France, because when they were at the airport, the first line that we saw was like the intercom saying, "Oh, flight 54 or whatever, going to France." And I assumed that that meant that they were going to France, but it could just be a random message on the intercom. That doesn't mean they actually went to France. And something else that's confusing, I'm not sure if, because the way we saw that scene is they took the plane, they arrived, they had like the fun at the beach, they had like the jet ski thing, and then they went to eat at a restaurant, and then they went back to the hotel, and then scene cut, and next scene they're at the tropical island. So the first time I read that, I assumed that all of that was in the same trip. It was all the same vacation. But now I'm thinking that that might have been just two different vacations that were just like cut between each other. Because in the tropical island, they specifically said that they were in the southern hemisphere. And I can't imagine what country they would be at on the first half if that was in the southern hemisphere. They would have to be in like South America or something. But the architecture, everything, it didn't look South American. So I definitely think right now that the first half and the second half, those were different vacations. Also, very interesting. I don't know if this is relevant or not, but the message we saw in the news about like, oh, 2 Japanese citizens disappeared on a southern island, on the boat in the southern islands. That does weirdly seem to correlate with Sachiko and Takako, who took a boat to this tropical island in the southern hemisphere. Like, that seems to be some correlation. I don't know if it's like literally their ghosts or something, or if this is just some narrative parallel. I don't know, but that was interesting. I'm gonna skip this one for now because I want to talk about this later. I'm saving this for the end. Okay, next is just a random detail, but in the first scene with Narasaki, Sachiko noticed that Narasaki like looked at her swirling coffee and then she laughed to herself, and Sachiko was like, what was that about? And Narasaki was like, oh, nothing. Like, that is such a weird detail. I don't know what significance Sachiko swirling coffee could have, but sure. Also, the chronology in the first scene with Narasaki just seems so weird. Like, the way they're talking about it, it seems like multiple hours have passed while they're at this cafe or whatever. But from the conversation, it looks like it takes like 5 minutes or something. But apparently hours have passed. So that was just weird. Like, the chronology, I'm not sure if I followed it in that scene. I'm not sure where the time was passing, that it went by so fast. Next, this isn't exactly a clue. I'm just writing this down, I guess, in case this gets contradicted later. But it said that Takako's sign was Scorpio, which means that her birthday is between October 23rd and November 21. Which is very interesting, because that would put her birthday in autumn. And autumn seems very relevant in the story, because a lot of scenes took place in autumn. Not all of them. Like, for some office scenes, they specifically mentioned that it was after the holidays, but a lot of the story has taken place in autumn. And also, according to Sachiko, from her messed up memories, she did say that, according to her, Takako disappeared last autumn. So autumn, it seems like autumn is like an important time frame in the story. Okay, next is a really, really weird detail, and I'm not sure what to make of it. So at the very beginning, if you remember, when they went on vacation, they went to a convenience store and they ate hot dogs. And Takako put too much ketchup on her hot dog to get rid of the taste of mustard, because Takako didn't like spicy food. They specifically said Takako did not appreciate spicy food. And yet, later, in the office scene, when Sachiko made lunch for Takako, she specifically says that she likes spicy food. So, I don't know what to make of that, but that can't be a coincidence. That can't be just like a mistake or a coincidence, right? Like, that has to be like something you're supposed to pick out. Like, wait a second, earlier she didn't like spicy food, but now she does like spicy food. What happened? Okay, I'll just say the next detail, and then I say like one of the overarching theories I've had. It's not 100%. Okay, last time I said that the place that they were sitting seemed to not be constant, like they were switching which place they were sitting at. I was wrong. Takako has always sat across from Fumi, and Inukai has always sat off to the side of both of them. If you look at the description in the office scenes, so that's been constant the whole time. But it has been mentioned that it seems like An is sitting in the place that Takako used to sit at, because it mentioned that there were papers for the new employee on Takako's desk that there was no one on. So it seems like An is sitting where Takako used to sit. So that, and the fact that Takako suddenly started liking spicy food, I think that maybe Sachiko is just... I think I said this earlier, by the way, but in one of the earlier episodes, but I think Sachiko is imagining An as Takako. Like, she's seeing the interactions between An, Fumi, and Inukai, and her brain is interpreting that as Takako being An. I think that's what's happening, and that would make more sense if An is sitting where Takako used to sit, which seems to be the case. I don't know if that's right, but that seemed plausible. Okay, what else? It seems to be implied that Sachiko's parents are dead, because at the beginning it's not mentioned directly, but it seems to be implied that she's living with her grandparents. And in the scene where she takes a taxi, she looks at herself in the reflection and she says that she reminded herself of pictures she'd seen of her mother, which is a very weird way to describe it, right? Why wouldn't she just say she reminds herself of her mother? She said she reminds herself of pictures she's seen of her mother, which seems to imply that she's only seen her mother in pictures, which would probably imply that she's dead. So yeah, I think that... I don't know about her dad, nothing's been mentioned about that, but with the whole grandparent thing, I would assume that both her parents are dead. I think that's a relatively safe assumption. I think that's everything for like the big stuff. I have a bunch of little details that seemed weird to me that probably aren't going to be relevant. Like, it was randomly mentioned that Takako's school bag seemed like very heavy and thick. I don't know what that was about. Maybe that's a clue for the milk. Maybe Takako had a bunch of milk in her school bag that she went to bury under the baseball field for some reason. And also the weird stuff with the class representative meeting. Like, she said that she had a meeting, but then she just sat alone in the classroom and read a book. Like, she was just lying. I don't know why she would do that. Or maybe I'm misunderstanding something. But yeah, that's everything I've gathered. So, I'm probably completely wrong on this, but as I was reading back to the story, especially the first half, like the whole like vacation scenes with Takako where they went to Italy, or not Italy, but like they went to France or whatever, and they went to the tropical island. In all of those scenes, I was getting big, what's the name of that? I was getting big San Junipero vibes. That is a Black Mirror episode. So I guess spoilers for Black Mirror if you haven't seen it. I'm gonna spoil it. In San Junipero, basically the whole plot line is, well, it's revealed at the end, but basically, everyone in the episode is, someone who has died, like an elderly person who has died, and they had their consciousness digitally uploaded into like a digital heaven where they can just like be young forever and just like enjoy life after like having died or whatever. And that is treated as like a twist in the story. Like for the entire episode, you don't exactly realize that that's what's happening. Like there are some clues, but at the end, it's revealed that it was all like in a simulation and everyone here is dead. I don't know if that's exactly what's going on, but like in that, especially in that tropical island scene, I'm getting like big like heaven vibe, like big like I don't know, like the vibe is just weird. Like I'm trying to, it's hard to like talk about this because this is such just like a vibe thing, but it's just like the way they talk about stuff, like so like nostalgically. Like they talk about I think it's Takako that talks about like, oh, the palm tree above the wash basin at the place we used to live at. It felt nostalgic. But like, how old are you? You're like what? You're like 25, 28 max? And what do you mean the place you used to live at? Like, how many places have you lived together with Sachiko with? Like, It just seemed weird. And also, like, Sachiko was like had Wikipedic knowledge of like constellations, and they kept referring to the what's the word? The pamphlet. They kept talking like, oh, the pamphlet said this. The pamphlet said this. I'm probably completely off mark, but that just seemed weird. That just seemed weird. Other than that, I think that's basically where I'm at. So I don't really have a good theory except for the Anne thing where Sachiko is seeing Anne as Takako. But I think it's important that I have all of these details or all of these clues written down, so that from now on, if I see something that like is related to one of these or like contradicts one of these, I can instantly like identify it. So I think that's gonna be important. Okay. Do I have anything else to say before I start? It's been 21 minutes. It took longer than I expected. I think that's everything. Okay. Oh yeah, something else I noticed. I completely forgot about this, but at the very beginning it said, prologue, Clover Design Office. So are we still in the prologue right now? Because we're still seeing stuff from the Clover Design Office. Are we still in the prologue? How fucking long is this story? Maybe we're not at the prologue anymore and we just didn't see when we went into chapter 1 or whatever, but yeah. Okay, let's continue. Periodic medical examination. Okay. I heard the phone ring as I left the bath. I wrapped a towel around myself and hurried to the living room. Hello? Oh, wait. There we go. Finally. Hello, is this Miss Sachiko? I heard a somewhat familiar voice from the other end of the receiver. Yes. This is Fujisaka Nanae. Oh, it's you. I thought you wanted to visit us. I remember the woman who helped me look for Takako back in Italy. It's been a while. Did you give her your phone number? Oh yeah, you did, didn't you? What? You just called me the other day. Did I? Guess you really did forget. Didn't you say you wanted to visit us during your next vacation? Nanae's tone was colored by mild surprise. Okay. You called us the other day. You called me the other day. Okay. I did? Yes. Our inn isn't open to regular customers right now due to remodeling, so you were happy that you could have the whole place to yourself. Are you sure you don't remember? I made an attempt to try and remember, but failed. Come to think of it, I had been completely occupied with work these past 2 weeks. I must have forgotten our conversation as a result of that. Yeah, that's normal. There's also that thing with Takako, so I tried not to think too deeply about it. So has your vacation started already? You said you'd be here by next weekend, I believe. My vacation was supposed to start next weekend. There were no issues with my schedule. Yes. I wonder if... I mean, Fujisaka could just be lying. Like, yeah, you told me you would come, right? You're coming, right? After we finished our conversation, I hung up. I sort of just went along with what Nanae said, but it seemed like the whole vacation problem had just solved itself. I returned to my room and pulled out my travel bag from the closet. I found a pamphlet in one of its inner pockets. As I flipped through a few pages, a piece of paper fell out of the tin. It had Nanae's phone number and address written on it. I placed the piece of paper on the side table and sat down on my bed. Okay, this is like... I'm not sure if this is a really good enough evidence, but if you're saying that when you opened the pamphlet, the piece of paper with her number on it fell out, then that would indicate that you haven't opened it since you went on vacation, right? Which would indicate that you didn't actually call her yesterday. Because if you had called her, you probably would have opened the pamphlet, took out the piece of paper, and put it somewhere else than the pamphlet from the travel bag, right? You would have put it like on your counter or something. I felt like I'd been letting circumstances dictate my decision for me as of late. I inhaled a deep breath and cleared my mind. After a brief pause, I considered what I should think about first. I recalled my encounter with the Takako hallucination in the bathroom. It had been a while since I saw her naked. I wished that hallucination had stayed for a while longer. Narasaki's words suddenly reverberated in my mind. Everything has a reason. There was a reason why I misremembered the date of the trip and was confused about Takako's fate. According to Narasaki, it was most likely because I actually wanted to keep seeing Takako's hallucinations. The reason I thought Takako was still alive and knew Inikai was to make it so that my hallucinations in the office wouldn't clash too violently with my perceived reality. After thinking about it that way, it all made perfect sense, did it? My own emotional frailty was the cause of it all. Ooh, new tips. Narasaki Clinic, room 208. It's been a while since we gotten the tip. Oh, that's the end of the prologue. Okay. Chapter 1, the hospital in the forest. Okay, so all of that was a prologue. Okay, this might be a long one. This might be a long one. Okay, let's save. Let's look at this tip. Okay, so this is just a different room in Narasaki Clinic. Okay, there's no way this is the same clinic that Sachiko is going to right now. Because it has, like, how many rooms? It has, like, at least 8 rooms per floor, and it has 3 floors. Like, there's no way Narasaki's clinic right now is that big. This has to be in the future or something. Okay, confirm. I like this song. After finishing a light meal in the cafeteria, I returned to the kitchen and prepared a small dish for one. The cafeteria, like, I used the same boiled vegetable I hate for my own dish, and I had already prepared the previous day. All I had to do was warm them up. I picked up a tray, placed the vegetable plate and rice bowl on, then left the kitchen. From the lobby, I ascended the stairs to the second floor and knocked on the door of the room at the end of the corridor, the one marked with the number 208. Sachiko 8. Huh? Sachiko 8. I sat down in the cane chair and once again looked over the list of things that had disappeared from the mansion. What? Is Sachiko in the room? What is it you're always checking over there? Looking up, I noticed that Sachiko had already finished her meal. I'm making a note of all the things that disappeared from this mansion. Wait, is this in the mansion that we're going to? Is this in the Fujisaka, like, fucking mansion or whatever? Because it seemed weird that you would call it a mansion. It was called Narasaki Clinic earlier. Disappeared. Has there been a burglary or something? No, nothing has been stolen. The thing here tends to disappear and reappear in other places, that's all. Oh, okay. And how exactly did they disappear? I don't know. I've never witnessed the actual moment when they disappear. By the time I take notice, they're already gone. You mean you've never actually witnessed it? I nodded. Could it be you can't even notice things if they vanish and reappear right in front of your eyes? That'd be odd. There's nothing odd about it. It's just how the world works. Then why are you so concerned about it? Everything here happens for a reason, and I want to know that reason. Besides, if possible, I'd rather not forget what used to be here. Sachiko glanced outside the window. It was black as night and you couldn't see anything, but the light from outside still illuminated the room to a certain extent. Sachiko came to this clinic 3 days ago without warning. It had been a long while since she last visited, so it surprised me. Okay, so this is in the future. I led her into the reception room and listened to what she had to say. She seemed tired and somewhat pale. How old is she? When I asked her about it, she said her job had been pretty hectic lately. When I asked her why, she told me that Takako had passed away due to an illness. What? In the past? There's no way. What the fuck is going on? Apparently, Sachiko took over her workload in their office on top of looking after her when she ended up bedridden. She told me she wanted some rest, so I lent her one of my rooms. Also, Takako died due to an illness? What the fuck did she get? Fucking... When I glanced back at her, she was still looking at the window. Sachiko wouldn't leave the room the next day either. Please don't end the scene. There were a few things missing in the room I checked that day too. It was a bit strange to have things disappear in such quick succession, but I was particularly interested in what the missing foreign Ben thing was. Foreign Ben! I returned to my room, still none the wiser about the whole situation. But foreign Ben was something that the patient just said was missing and then they found, right? As I reached my desk, I opened the list and after looking at proper nouns, left a little note for myself. Sometime after noon, I felt hungry and made my way to the kitchen. Wait, what do you mean? After I opened the list, and after looking at proper nouns, what? Looking at proper nouns on the list? Why would there be proper nouns on the list of things in the mansion? Or do you mean looking up online? I already had lunch, so I checked the refrigerator for something light. The massive silver fridge had 9 drawers. I pulled out a sizable pear from the bottom one and sliced it up to pieces with a kitchen knife. I left the room with a tray of freshly made tea and a plate of pear slices. I looked outside the window as I ascended the stairs. The inner yard was surrounded by walls from every angle. Even the sky, dark and filled with clouds, looked rectangular. Sachiko was reading a book in her room, as usual. You shouldn't forget to exercise. You'll get sick if all you do is read. I placed a plate with pear slices on the side table. Sachiko glanced at the plate and thanked me, but instead of eating anything, returned her full attention to the book. I sat down in the king chair with my own plate and began reading the novel I brought with myself. After a while, I began hearing crunching sounds from Sachiko's direction, which made me look up from my book. She was looking at the window. The window was always dark, you could never see anything beyond it. Sachiko mentioned it was odd, but I kept looking at it all the same. What do you mean? She also said how odd it was that things kept disappearing. In this clinic, however, things kept disappearing and reappearing without warning. The ones that appear tend to be daily necessities that you can never forget. For example, the fridge I looked at just earlier would fill up with all my knowledge. Well, Sachiko would probably say that was odd too. Yeah. I'm going to look at the flower beds in the inner yard. Want to come with me? I finished the last slice of my pear and looked at Sachiko. It's been raining a lot, so I want to check up on the flowers. I feel like it would do you some good to go outside a bit instead of staying in bed all day and night. You may be right. I brought her place to the kitchen while Sachiko got changed. After I returned to her room and picked her up, we continued to the inner yard to look at the flower beds. What do you mean, pick her up? Like, bring her along with you? Can you say that? The inner yard was between the 4 wings of this building. 4 wings of this building! That is a large fucking building. The weather seemed to have taken a turn for the better by the time we finally went outside. We could see spots of blue sky amid the clouds. Oh. As soon as we stepped outside, we were welcomed by cosmos flowers. They were swaying left and right in the fierce wind. At first look, it didn't seem like any of the flowers ended up with broken stems. Similarly, the soil looked fine as well. I crouched next to one of the flower beds, brushed the dirt from the brick block, and pulled a piece of weed from between some of the flowers. Do you like cosmo flowers? I do. Sachiko came to my side and began pulling out weeds herself. I gave her face a long, hard look as I continued working. She looked better compared to when she first arrived. Are you feeling better now? Sachiko nodded after a slight pause. I'm causing you trouble, aren't I? You can stay here for as long as you want as far as I'm concerned, but what about your job? I'm on paid vacation right now. I see. Sachiko had already spent 4 days here. I doubt you could take that many paid days off. Maybe in Japan, 4 days off? Oh my god, that's crazy. Even in the case of a death of your immediate family, you would usually only get 2 or 3 days in this country. Oh man, I love Japan. A wave of sound spilled forth from the speakers in the inner yard, making Sachiko raise her head. After a few more moments of noise, they started playing some music. Is something happening? Sachiko looked at the speakers up in the tree with a confused expression. No, it's just music. Where is it coming from? From the broadcasting room. The broadcasting room? There are many records there, so they play some of them from time to time. What for? Just to listen. After staring at me for a short while, Sachiko nodded how odd it was. Yeah. Four days have passed since Sachiko came here. I decided to go look for the medical record detailing her previous visits. She had been here on several occasions, and I was the one to examine her each of those times. I eventually treated it and sent her home in a healthy state. Every time, I knew exactly what kind of role I had to fill. This time, however, I had yet to grasp it. That said, I didn't feel particularly worried. I was a doctor at this clinic, and there was only so much I could do for her. After Sachiko returned to her room, I made my way to the library in the other wing. Her old medical records should have been there. There was a corridor connecting the east and west wings. I unlocked the large double door leading to it. Oh no, her records are gonna disappear. Having been neglected for so long, the door opened with an audible creak. What do you mean neglected for so long? Beyond it, there was only darkness. The light switch was right next to the door. Flipping it did absolutely nothing. Even the oculus window located in the middle of the ceiling was completely shrouded in darkness. I propped up the door so it wouldn't close behind me, switched on my flashlight, and stepped inside. The library was a relatively big, circular structure. I couldn't even make out the wall on the other end of the room. The door I entered through was on the second floor, meaning there were two paths I could take. Both led to semicircular stairs. One was leading down, the other up. What? This is insane. I chose the path leading down, and using the flashlight to make out my steps, began to slowly descend. The stairs themselves were made of black iron and had reliefs of flowers sculpted on them. Hard metallic sounds reverberated in the room with each of my steps. I finished my descent and continued to a shelf located right by the entrance. It was filled with medical records. With the help of my flashlight, I found Sachiko's old file. A cloud of dust burst up into the air as I pulled it out. Well, why is it so dusty? Is no one else here? I waved a hand in front of my face to get the dust away. I mean, there's gotta be someone in the, what did you call it? The recording room or whatever? The broadcasting room. There's gotta be someone there. Just in case though, I brushed off the file with my hand before opening it. Right on the first page, I spotted some familiar looking handwriting. It was mine. The date was already over 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Is it that Sachiko just keeps forgetting that Takako has died and keeps remembering and having hallucinations and forgets again and remembers again? And she keeps thinking every time that Takako just died, but in reality she died like forever ago, but she just keeps forgetting and keeps remembering over and over? Is that what's going on? Her symptoms, treatments, and progress were all recorded in the document. It differed a little from how I currently filed my medical records, filing them with random, superfluous observations and a number of unrelated information, almost like it was some diary. Feeling the grip of nostalgia on my heart, I looked over the record for a while longer until I noticed the light of my flashlight growing dim. I promptly pulled out all of Sachiko's files from the shelf and returned the way I came. I guess that's it. 10 years ago. Oh god. I mean, I can't really think of anything else other than what I just said. With her just, forgetting over and over that Takako is dead. The thing with the illness is weird, though, that she died of an illness? And that she had, to take care of her while she was bedridden? Also, the whole setup is weird. Why is Narasaki in the giant mansion with no one else there? She said that when she opened the door to the library, it had been so long since it was last used that it creaked when it opened. Is there no one else here? This seems so weird. I'm just thinking. Also, I did not understand what she was saying about foreign bin. The whole foreign bin thing is really fucking throwing me off. Are we getting meta with it and it's concepts themselves are being erased? conceptual ideas are being removed and then put back in? Is that what's going on? Let's continue. Let's continue for now. Here. Radio exercise. Click. After finishing breakfast, I returned to my hospital room and turned on the radio with the broken spring by forcing its switch a little. Excuse me, what? Who is this? I returned to my hospital room and turned on the radio. Okay. Good morning. It'll take a few more minutes for the sun to peek its face from the horizon. However, you can already see the clouds being illuminated by its golden light. Certainly a sight that fills one's soul with energy, is it not? The radio began transmitting someone's cheerful voice through the usual noise. First, allow me to detail today's weather. Ishigaki is going to be exposed to east-southwest winds of level 3 strength. Meanwhile, the sky will be cloudy with 1013 HPA barometric pressure and temperatures at 24 Celsius. Naha. I moved to the plane room's window to confirm the weather of southern Japan. Takako? Okay. The curtains parted with an energetic sound, and the gloomy room was instantly filled with bright golden light. I considered the blue sky and the azure sea beyond the window. I inhaled a deep breath, filling my chest with the pleasantly chilly morning air. Are you ready? Exercise number 1. Exercise directions began spilling forth from the radio. I straightened my stance, stuck out my chest, and stretched my back. Soon enough, I heard a knock on the door. I turned my head back as part of the exercise and saw Mayuko, my nurse. Mayuko? Okay. Your hair looks like your hair looks very similar to Fujisaki's, like the color. Mayuko. Takako's nurse. Each time I turned, the light being reflected from her white uniform would blind me. I didn't miss the chance to marvel at her sizable bosom, though. Okay. You seem to be in high spirits today. How are you feeling? I'm good. I think I've been doing pretty well these last couple of days. Bending forward, I touched the floor with my palm. Jesus. I could do better back in my teens, but my body was still far from stiff. With my hands on my waist, I bent backwards. It was just what my rusty old back needed. It felt great. I could see Mayuko upside down. Regular exercise is well and good, but please try not to overdo it. Our eyes met. Oh, this is nothing. It's not like I've got a physical condition. Are you also going insane? Are you hallucinating Sachiko after Sachiko died? Is that what's going on? Well, I suppose that's true. Mayuko, brushing the topic aside, placing the notebook she'd been holding on the side table. So it's a mental condition, obviously. I'll leave your new notebook here. Glancing at the side table, I saw that the notebook in question was covered in brown leather. Leather. It was similarly designed to the one I was using before, but still had an odd sense of newness about it. I bent down, touching my left and right toes. Oh, and after you're done exercising, I would like you to make good on your promise from yesterday. Sir, just give me a sec. Promise from yesterday. Mayuko passed by me and sat down on my bed. Trying not to make too much commotion by jumping around, I instead kept moving up and down on my tiptoes while lifting my arms. You can certainly keep this up for a long time. I can't wake up unless I do this. But to be honest, a morning bath would do the job even better. We're not running a hotel here. But that's why I gotta generate my own energy like this. I stretched again, my unbrushed hair tickling my shoulders. This doesn't seem like a normal hospital. You have a low blood pressure if I remember correctly. Jealous? I'm a walking energy-saving machine. Are you sure? Given the amount you eat, I'd say you have a faulty engine if anything. That's just how much I work. I heaved a deep sigh. Well, let's make use of all that energy then. Creak, creak. Okay, this seems like a very old hospital. I looked inside the umbrella-shaped lamp on the ceiling, grasped the burnout light bulb within, and turned it counterclockwise a few times. It let out a creaking sound. Here you go. Oh, that was a promise? I pulled the light bulb out of the socket and handed it to Mayuko, who was standing by the stepladder. She took it with her left hand while handing the new light bulb with her right. Here. Thanks. Creak, creak. I pressed the new light bulb against the socket and turned it clockwise a couple of times. After making sure it was steadily attached, I pulled my hand out of the glass umbrella and brushed the dust coating my fingers on my ties. Okay, try turning on the lights now. Mayuko let go of the stepladders and flipped the switch attached to the wall next to the entrance of the room. The room lit up. I had to narrow my eyes just to look up. The night keeper's room was filled by a dazzling orange light. I hopped off the stepladder. Why couldn't you do this? Oh. Okay. Thank you very much. Mayuko gave me a smile. No problem. I raised my hand in response. Where to next? I folded up the stepladder and gave Mayuko a look. Next up would be... I shifted the ladder in my hand so it wouldn't hit my leg, while Mayuko, standing next to me, opened the floor plan of the sanatorium. You're at a sanatorium? The main building was designed in the shape of a big U, with a solid inner yard surrounded by 3 walls. You mean exactly like the building we saw in the tips? So I assume this is the same building, right? It has to be. There's no way we have 2 different U-shaped building that are also like sanatoriums with like a garden in the middle, or a yard as you call it. The road from the inner yard led to another building that housed our library. It was also attached to the main building by a connecting corridor. Is this the library that Narasaki went to earlier? Mayuko's floor plan was marked with several circles. She placed the paper on the open space of a flower stand, then pulled out a red pen from her chest pocket and added another circle for the break room. Seems like only the library is left. Aye, let's get a move on then. We left the break room and continued down the connecting corridor to the library. The corridor itself had windows on both sides, allowing the blinding sunlight to enter unobstructed. Mayuko was looking at the floor plan as she walked ahead of me. Seems like we only have 3 places to take care of here. I can't believe they're making patients do this. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You're tall and have endurance. We all appreciate your help, Miss Takako. You have the endurance to step up a stepladder? Like, what do you mean? Mayuko chuckled to herself. I shifted the folded stepladder in my arms and glanced outside. I could see a couple of trees, their leaves partially shed, swaying gently in the wind. I wanted to take care of this before the nights began to grow longer. Are we in the autumn again? Mayuko was gazing outside the same window as me. Oh, don't sweat it. I've had nothing to do lately, so I appreciate any opportunity to have a different kind of workout. I raised the stepladder to my shoulders like I was lifting weights. Mayuko responded with a chuckle. As she opened the door leading to the library, we found ourselves enveloped by the smell of old paper and dust. I don't remember the exact description that Narasaki gave the library, but I think this is probably the same. I do remember it was like spherical, right? And this also does seem circular. So I'm just gonna assume this is the same library. The closest one is the wall lamp next to the history bookshelf. Gotcha. As we made our rounds in the library, changing all the weakened lights, I spotted a braided girl reading a book on at one of the desks. Aha! I knew I'd find you here, Sanae. Sanae? From Toho? Oh, no. The girl raised her face from the book to look at me. Okay, we're getting just a bunch of different characters now. Sanae. Are you Mayuko's sister or something? You look very similar. The girl raised her face from the book to look at me. She fixed the position of her glasses with her index finger. Takako? Good afternoon, Miss Sanae. Entering behind me, Mayuko spotted Sanae as well and gave her a greeting. Good afternoon. Sanae replied in a small voice, like hers exactly the same. Are you planning on reading here for a while? Sanae turned to me and made a barely perceptible nod. My room was too bright for reading. Okay, I guess you're a patient then. Sanae fixed the position of her glasses again. I returned the books I borrowed later today. Alright. Her eyes behind the glasses lit up. I slightly raised the folded stepladder I had on my shoulders. I'm kind of doing my share of forced labor today. Miss Takako, I would appreciate it if you refrained from that choice of words. You can't exactly call it forced when you volunteered yourself. Michael furrowed her brows in mock indignation. What about the labor part? I think that applies just fine. You are helping us all out, not to mention it helps your rehabilitation. Does it? If it's a mental problem, I don't see how it would help, but... Still holding the bag of light bulbs, Michael crossed her arms. I didn't know it had anything to do with my rehabilitation. It does. In any case, we should hurry and finish up already. The word rehabilitation makes it seem as though, like, you've killed someone and, like, you went schizo and killed someone or crazy. Like, that word seems to imply some things, but I don't know. Michael pulled on the sleeve of my hand that supported most of the folded stepladder's weight. If I didn't want to fall, I had no choice but to follow her. See you later. I waved Sanae goodbye and she answered me with a light smile and a wave of her own. I pushed the fluorescent tube into its place on the ceiling and made sure to fasten it so it wouldn't fall on someone's head later. And with this, we're done. After confirming the light would work fine, I folded up the stepladder. Maiko crossed out the last circle in the floor plan. She put the cap on her pen before returning it to her pocket. Thank you very much for today. Maiko bowed her head in an expression of thanks. Do you still have to work after this? I heaved the folded stepladder on my shoulders so it wouldn't upset my balance. I just have to make my rounds. In that case, I'll go back to Sanae after I put this back. I pointed at the stepladder. Michael picked up the paper bag with the old light bulbs in it. Bring me some good sweets next time. I'll think about it. I want the sponge cake. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Sanae, still on her bed, rummaged through the nearby shelf and pulled out a wooden plate with rice crackers on it. Oh. So, you're a patient, right? Okay. Here, have some. I picked up the rind wrapped in seaweed and propped it into my mouth. Thanks. The seaweed already had a certain moistness to it, but the actual cracker was crunchy enough to feel fresh. Sanae herself picked up a can from the shelf. After opening it, she scooped up some of the tea powder with a spoon, then added it to the boiling water in the pot. After hitting the spoon against the side of the can to return the residue powder, she closed its lid, returned it to the shelf, and filled the teacups with tea. The tea came just when I was starting to get thirsty from all the dry rice crackers. Thanks. I took the teacup from her and helped myself to a sip of the hot liquid. Sanae's small room housed a bed, a cabinet, and the cane chair I brought from the recreation room. It was way smaller than my room, but still felt more spacious. I've loved seaweed crackers all my life. The person who came up with combining seaweed and rice crackers must be a genius. I never had it. I like them too. I prefer rice crackers with sesame though. Yeah, that one's pretty good too. You start off wanting to have only one or two, and soon enough you're left with an empty box. I reached out to grab the second cracker. Are you perhaps hungry? I stopped Sanae as she was about to reach out towards the shelf again. Nah, not really. But dinner here is kind of bland, don't you think? I never really feel all that full afterwards. I mean, I wouldn't assume the food at the sanatorium to be especially fulfilling. Well, that's sort of a given. This is a sanatorium after all. That's what I'm saying. Meals are made with a consideration for balance and nutrients. Yeah, I wish that at least let me use my own seasoning. The dry wind clouded against the window next to the bed. Suddenly I reached out and closed it, making the sound cease. The wind has grown strong lately. Autumn is right around the corner. Autumn again! So autumn is right around the corner, so we're like in what? We're in... August? Or something? That's true. Sanae answered. Then she glanced out the window, looking at a tree shedding its red and yellow leaves. Or like September? A single leaf on one of its branches fluttered in the wind. Let me write that down. By the time the tree is fully stripped of leaves, the wind will calm down a bit. Temperatures will be lower too. Is that how it works? Happens every year. Sanae's eyes were still fixed on the window as she said that. What do you mean, is that how it works? How long have you been here? I'm not sure anymore. I stopped counting after the first 5 years. Jesus. What the fuck do you have? She turned back to me. Wait, who's saying that? Is Takako been here for 5 years, or has she been here for 5 years? Don't you get bored of being here? So Takako's been here for 5 years? Or at least 5 years. What? I don't know. I don't usually think about stuff like that. Really? Sonny slowly nodded. Really? Even if I try thinking about it, all I'd remember are memories of living here. It's not like I could compare this place to any other. Okay, so you have amnesia? I see. I glanced back at the lonely tree. A gust of wind made its sunset-colored leaves brush against the window glass. Further beyond that tree lay a forest that continued till the harbor. I could see some trees with colored leaves there as well. How about you, Takako? Do you not get bored of this place? I'm not... Was I wrong? Is it her that's been here for... I'm not following the conversation. I'm sorry. I really apologize for this, because it must be annoying if you know the story, seeing this, but like, I'm not following. So, the fact that she says, how about you, Takako? Do you not get bored of this place? Makes me think that she was the one that's been here for 5 years? At least? Let me just read this again. Okay, no, okay. I should have known from this line. When it says Sanae slowly nodded, that means that she's this person, which means she's her and she's... Okay, so Sanae is the one that has been here for at least 5 years. And she's the one that has amnesia. Okay. Got that cleared up. I'm sorry. Well, living surrounded by nature on the top of a mountain has its upsides. At the top of a mountain, okay. The port town below is not exactly a bustling metropolis, but I like its retro feel. Is the town below the same town that you grew up in with Sachiko? I also love how the wind here always has the scent of the sea to it. I looked at the port town beyond the window. It looked silent and lifeless in the distance, almost like a picture. It's pretty boring here during the winter. Well, I guess that's how winters are everywhere. I like reading books, I have everything I want right here. Suddenly I lifted a book from my knees. Yeah, this place sure has a lot of books. I glanced towards the direction of the library. Now that I think about it, I haven't been given the library key yet. If you have nothing to do during winter, why not try reading some books as well? I'm sure Miss Mayuko will lend you the key if you ask. Is she the only person working here? No, I'm good. I get plenty of reading just from the stuff you recommend. Now that I think about it, you don't have anything to read right now, do you? You want me to lend you a volume or two? Maybe not right now. I still have to write it in my diary. I cross my legs again and pull out a new notebook from my pocket. That's a new one, isn't it? I got it today. Have you already written in your diary today? On the side table next to Sanae's bed rested a different notebook. Yes, I have. My diary entries mostly just consist of my opinions on books, though. At least you always have something to write about, I guess. Would you like to write in yours right now? You can use my table if you want. I stopped Sanae right as she was about to climb out of bed. I'll do it later. I've got stuff to write today, so it shouldn't take that long. I see. What are you reading right now, anyway? The book resting on Sanae's hand had a marker stuck into it around the middle. Sanae picked it up and showed me the cover. Oh, the fucking things on the side disappeared again. There we go. Man, you do look a lot like Sachiko, don't you? Now that I have her right here. Your hair is a bit more messy. And your eye color is different. But otherwise, yeah. You also like reading. There was a bucket with a picture of a sci-fi looking city drawn on it. The letter above the bucket spelled out SeaBed. What are we doing? SeaBed. It's a mystery novel. The protagonist... The protagonist and her lover visit a southern island and get stuck repeating the same day over and over again. let's deal with this one thing at a time, okay? First of all, what do you mean a bucket with a picture of a sci-fi looking city drawn on it? What does that even mean? Like a literal bucket? Or does bucket have another definition that I don't know? Like a book's bucket? I don't... No, it's on the cover. A bucket with a picture of a sci-fi looking city drawn on it. Okay, and also, I don't know what this has anything to do with the synopsis that you're telling me right now. This seems like a completely different story from the cover. The letter above the bucket spelled out SeaBed, okay? It's a mystery novel. The protagonist and her lover visit a southern highland and get stuck repeating the same day over and over again. Is that what's happening? I mean, I guess in a way, if my theory earlier about Sachiko, like, keeps forgetting that Takako died, and then remembering, and then forgetting, and then remembering, and then, like, doing that over and over, I guess in a way, she is kind of repeating the same day over and over again. I mean, it's not like a true, like, Groundhog's Day, but it kind of is the same idea, I guess. I see, so it's one of those loop stories I keep hearing about. Is it fun? It's fun so far. If it doesn't fall apart in the middle, I'll lend it to you before returning it to the library. Yeah, that's my opinion too. Okay, I think I'm just I don't even know what to say. Like, I think I'm just gonna store this away for now in my big list of clues. Book called SeaBed? Question mark? Question mark? Question mark? I think this is gonna get its own section. Bucket with a sci-fi city on it. Protagonist goes to Southern Island with her lover and loops the same day over and over. What does the sci-fi city have anything to do with the story? Are they in a simulation? Is that what's going on? Are we in a simulation? Am I in a simulation? I don't know, man. I don't know. I'd be looking forward to that. The Southern Islands are cool. We can't go anywhere right now, so it's nice to be able to make the journey in your head at least. Have you traveled before? Yeah, quite a bit actually. It's a long story, but you want to hear it? Suddenly I made a friendly smile. I'm okay, but what about your diary? I can always do it later. Besides, Mariko said recounting my memories to other people helps with my condition. Okay, so you also have some sort of memory problem. Maybe. Not necessarily. Could be something else. In that case, I'd definitely like to hear what you have to say. Saya left the book on the side table and turned to face me. I began to visualize one of my trips in my mind so I could tell her everything in great detail. So I went to Italy and then I got lost. Okay, you know what? Let's stop here. Let's stop here. I'm over the hour mark. Yeah. I feel like the story's definitely opening up. I'm still I feel like I'm still definitely lacking answers, but I'm getting so many clues, it's kind of overwhelming. But it's hard to formulate an answer right now. Okay, this sounds really stupid, but could it be that, like, Takako just had, like, some sort of accident and they never found her body, and Sachiko just assumed that she died, but in reality, she just, like, lost all her memories or something, or lost some of her memories, and she somehow ended up in this sanatorium and no one knows who she was? But no, that doesn't even make sense because they know her name was Takako, like, they call her Takako. So if there was a person that went missing whose name was Takako, they would, like, identify her as that. Or even if they assumed she was dead, like, I feel like someone would make the connection, surely. So I don't think it's that. Man, the sci-fi city thing is really throwing me for a loop. It could be like a completely inconsequential detail, but... Also, what's the connection with this and the tips we saw? Because it clearly... Well, not clearly, but it seems to be the same building. And the file that Sachiko has had in the building for 10 years? Dude, this is so fucky. I really hope this is gonna land, this is gonna land the ending. Like, just like, what's her name? Just like Sanae here said. What did she say? If it doesn't fall apart in the middle, I'll lend it to you before returning it to the library. Yeah, that's how I feel too about SeaBed. I really, if it sticks to landing and like the answer to all these mysteries like makes sense and is satisfying, then I'm probably really gonna like this. I'm a bit doubtful right now, but we'll see. We'll see. I hope I actually do get an answer to everything, because I have gotten burned with visual novels before, where they give me a ton of mysteries. And then at the end, like half of them don't even get answered. They don't even seem like they have an answer. So I hope it's not that. Yeah, I think I need to let this simmer in the noggin for a bit. Let my brain think about it. Yeah, this is really fucky. Okay, anyway, yeah, I'm done for now. I'm done for now. Okay, I definitely spent like half the episode just theorizing, but hopefully that's fine. Hopefully you guys like seeing me theorize on these. I mean, that's a whole reason why I play mystery, why I record myself reading these mystery visual novels, because I like theorizing out loud, and I like being able to go back and like listen to myself theorizing and see what I was right on, what I was wrong on. And I like seeing other people theorize on stories I've already finished, and like hearing them theorize, and like even if they're wrong, like it's fun hearing their thought process, how it's like it evolves. So hopefully you guys enjoy me doing that too. But yeah, that's it. Okay, see you next time for a new Takako and Sachiko adventure on vacation. All right, see you.